I'm going to go ahead and hit record. So I'm recording this, no unmuting and saying anything crazy, and I will share my screen so that we can see what we're working with today. All right, let me get that. Can everybody see? In good shape? Awesome. Like I said, this is our fourth installment of the Startup Culture in the Classroom event. My name is Caleb. We thank you for participating. This event would not be possible without the folks here who've helped promote this, put this together. I'm very appreciative to everyone involved. I would like to give an opportunity for everybody to kind of say a few words about, I guess, this event and their time participating in this. I'll start by just giving you a few words about Startup Junkie. We are a mission-driven organization here in Northwest Arkansas that exists to serve entrepreneurs and innovators. We do that in two ways, and one is through no-cost consulting. Whether you have an idea on the back of a napkin or a business with $25 million in revenue, we're here to serve you as best we can, and you will never get a bill from us. And the second way we do that is through events like this one. Networking events, lunch and learns, webinars, workshops, all are virtual right now, of course, but that is what we do. And so I will now turn it over to Rita with the University of Arkansas.
So I'm director of the Bessie Center for Economic Education. We love to share curricula with teachers, but entrepreneurship is something we're really passionate about. We think Arkansas is the way it is because of our entrepreneurs. We've got some real leaders in the field, but now we're growing some new ones. And we really need educators to jump on board and introduce students to this idea so they can start thinking about it at a young age. Maybe they won't start out as an entrepreneur, but knowing it's something in their future if they want is great. And if they're not entrepreneurs, it's great creative thinking. So it makes the curriculum really awesome. So take the ideas and use them, please. We're going to give you lots of resources today.
Absolutely. And Marsha with Economics Arkansas as well.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure for us to get to partner with these great groups to bring you some really relevant, real-world opportunities to take into your classroom. At the end today, we'll be sharing an opportunity for you to select a resource that will spotlight an entrepreneur that you can take back into your classroom. So thanks for being here.
We have Lucy with Junior Achievement.
Hi guys, my name is Lucy. I'm with Junior Achievement. We offer K through 12 virtual learning for free to teachers across the state of Arkansas. We focus on 3 pillars, and those are entrepreneurship, work readiness, and financial literacy. So we're really excited to be here and be part of this because this is one of our big pillars and something we're definitely promoting in Northwest Arkansas and around the state. And if you're a teacher that's wanting to get involved with us, I'll put my information in the chat. And yeah, looking forward to hearing from the speakers.
Awesome. Is Marie with Arkansas Capital with us today? I haven't seen her yet.
I did not see her.
All right. Well, they are involved in helping us promote this as well, and we appreciate them for that. All right. Here's our agenda. So to kind of give you a rundown of what we're going to see today, last year, Startup Junkie did an event called Startup Week where we featured a lineup of videos every day on social media and our local public access television, highlighting entrepreneurs. And so we've kind of repurposed those videos through this startup culture series to kind of show you some of the stories from entrepreneurs in Arkansas. I will say, you know, these are specifically Northwest Arkansas entrepreneurs because this was put together for our local event, but that doesn't mean that there aren't incredible entrepreneurs all over the natural state. Just letting you know that. We also have 3 entrepreneurs who are here with us today that will take your questions, kind of tell you some of their story and kind of share some of their entrepreneurial journey, what they're working on, field your questions. And then of course, as always, we have trivia at the end. That's why you're all here, I understand, for those great questions, and Amazon gift cards, which we will give to the winners. All right, so without further ado, let's see here. We'll start with talent. And just to kind of go back, so we've kind of touched on a variety of different topics and themes throughout this series, and excuse me, this series today is specifically an effort to highlight entrepreneurs of color in Arkansas, specifically Northwest Arkansas. So we're going to share some stories from some within our community, starting with Talent Kiln.
Is a intern solution startup seeking to equip individuals with internships and businesses with individuals. My name is Tanisha Gist, and I started Talent Kiln because there's a huge need for mentorship. Once upon a time, I was an intern. I was actually a student seeking an internship, and I really had minimal direction. I didn't know where to go, who to turn to, and I realized that internships are really just an environment where interns can really find their way. And so with the help of a mentor, I feel like it takes it to a whole nother level when you have someone that's there really helping, encouraging you, and providing you that confidence that you need. I love working with individuals who are just enthusiastic about trying to really get better and make the world around them better. And so however I can really assist people to be able to reach their goals through mentoring and providing consultation, that internally just I get excited just about the thought of being able to do that. So if you are wanting more information, please reach out to me. I look forward to working with you.
Awesome. And next, was the audio okay on that, everybody? Oh.
Talent Kiln is...
I was going to show you all again. And for those of you who have been here from the jump, or the very first session, I believe we might have featured this one before, but I wanted to show it again just because I think it details a good story about coming to a new place and creating something new.
So to give you an idea of why I created Iom Northwest Arkansas, my focus was originally just to meet people. I was working here for a management consulting firm that's based in Fayetteville, and that's why I moved here with my family in 2014. And I took that time to basically get to know this area. And honestly, I created this podcast because it was the podcast that I wish I had had when I was moving here, to learn more about Northwest Arkansas, to learn more about what makes it so special, to learn a little bit about the people that are here, and just to stay informed. And so Iom Northwest Arkansas was born in April of 2019, and we are now up to about at the time of recording this, we're up to 83 episodes, and we aren't looking back. It's an opportunity and a chance for us to exchange ideas with people and to share as much as we can about this area and why, the Ozarks are such a great place to live. Well, I've had the benefit of living all over the world, actually. I lived in Germany. I spent time on the West Coast. I went to school in Washington, D.C. I spent time up in Boston. Don't hold that against me. But the bottom line was, in each of those locations, what you find is that there are always going to be gatekeepers that control the access to the people and the information that you need in order to do something. The thing that I really like about Northwest Arkansas is that those gatekeepers here are extremely friendly, and they're the same people that will introduce you to the people that you need to know without any type of agenda or without any type of, hey, whatever I do for you, you got to return the favor. The right people that are here in Northwest Arkansas typically have an open heart and a willingness to give that I haven't really experienced anywhere else in this country. That's why I say that Northwest Arkansas is a very special place to be. We are in the heartland, if you will, the southern heartland of this great nation, and there are a lot of opportunities here. It doesn't matter what kind of entrepreneur you are. I think Northwest Arkansas is a great place to come. I even did a podcast episode where I asked the question, I said, is Northwest Arkansas the next Silicon Valley? Because I was interviewing an individual that is big in the VC arena, and there are so many companies here that are starting off small, but could eventually be big. And while you may not want all the things that come along with a Silicon Valley, increased housing prices and other socioeconomic issues that may impact an area or an environment, I think that because of the way people are here in Northwest Arkansas, it is just a fertile ground and a fertile place for small businesses to spring up and really not just be profitable, but really grow organically in a way where they can get the support that they need, and it could be a wonderful launching pad to, being introduced to the rest of the country. So my encouragement would simply be is to look at those places within our community where certain needs are not being filled, or if you find that you keep going back to the same question over and over again, but there's no one out there that has an answer for it, you need to create the answer for it.
And I think the way he ended that is kind of perfect, because just for my commentary here, the first two videos we've just watched, pointed out a need they saw within their community that they addressed directly. And he spoke, of course, about Northwest Arkansas because that's the name of his podcast, but I think the same can be said for the rest of our great state.
So to give you
Hi, my name is Miriam Owens, and I sell homemade vegan treats through my business, Mary's Vegan Kitchen. I decided to start my own business after noticing a lack of accessible vegan items in the area. You all have enjoyed my brownies and pastries so much that this November, Mary's Vegan Kitchen will have been operating for 1 year. Owning my own business in the area means that I am tapped into a unique community that encourages progression and change. This also sets the foundation for how Northwest Arkansas will appear in the future. Through engaging with our unique community with endeavors such as 1 Million Cups, I've gained insight on how my fellow entrepreneurs view me, as well as what I can do to improve as a new entrepreneur. So I can say that although the pandemic hasn't changed how I do business or how I process orders or do pickups, I can say that through everything that's been going on with the community, with the Black Lives Matter movement, that definitely impacted my business as a Black-owned business. I gained tons of support from local business owners in the community, customers, just anybody who would share my business on their platform definitely elevated my business. So advice I would tell somebody that is where I am a year ago, get out of your own way. Say yes to every opportunity and just do it. You don't become an entrepreneur just, it's nothing magical that happens to make you become an entrepreneur. You become an entrepreneur by just doing it. Start your business. If you have an idea, start it. Get some feedback from your community, from your friends, and from your family, and just go. Just get out of your own way and you'll be good.
And as you can tell, once she got off of her script that she started with at the beginning, she got a little more candid and open about entrepreneurship in Northwest Arkansas. I think that was a great video.
Hi.
Next we have Precipice IP.
Hi, I'm Angela Grayson. I'm the principal member and founder of Precipice IP. Precipice is a technology law boutique, and we help science and technology startups protect their products, brands, designs, and data. So I started Precipice IP after about 15 years of being a corporate attorney. In that time in corporate America, I really thought just about every day about leaving and starting my own practice. Entrepreneurship is very much in the blood of our family. My grandfather is an entrepreneur. My grandmother's father was an entrepreneur. I have cousins who are entrepreneurs. And, it really was not if, but when. When was I going to take that journey as well? I had no idea of sort of what I didn't know. Sort of having also a legal services business also offers its own unique challenges because the rules of ethics really dictate who can take equity positions in the firm. So it's been a really huge learning curve. Even though I researched and planned and plotted, there's still lots and lots I didn't know. But I certainly would not trade this journey for anything in the world, because I have probably grown more in the last 4 or 5 years than I had grown in 15 years in corporate America. First of all, I absolutely love living here. I love being a part of this community. The community as a whole has been extremely welcoming. I have been very plugged into chambers, the Rogers Chamber. I'm very plugged into the community as a whole. And so I really feel like this is a wonderful place to live and work. This is absolutely my very favorite place to live. The quality of life here is amazing. The ability to be integrated in the community is amazing. The community is very welcoming. I always tell my husband, you know, this is our forever home. And he finally agreed with me after about 5 years that we're probably not going to go anywhere else.
And Angela has recently joined the Archangel Alliance as a board member in Central Arkansas, which is a angel fund that will she will be working to address access to capital for a lot of Arkansas entrepreneurs. So that's a great resource that our state has. And we should be getting a check from the state of Arkansas for all this move to Arkansas promotions that we do. So we have Elixir Yoga Lounge.
Hi, my name is Nicole Calhoun. I'm the owner of Elixir Yoga Lounge in Fayetteville, Arkansas. So I just started Elixir Yoga Lounge for two reasons mainly. The first is that I really wanted to create a space that was invested in diversity and representation within the community of yoga. The second was to provide a really transformative and powerful experience with yoga, allow the people to not only be able to experience yoga, but also to get a really good workout while they're doing it. I decided to take the leap to open because I really decided and understood that I had something unique to offer that wasn't already in the community. So I think that the community here in Northwest Arkansas is very collaborative. I think that the local businesses all really see the good in everybody succeeding. And so everybody's really supportive of each other, even within the yoga community. One of the things that we've done during COVID and the pandemic is to invest more in online offerings for classes. And since we did that, we actually gained clientele from all over the country. We've had a lot of clients from LA, from New York City that have reached out to us and had interest in taking our classes. Also, I think the ability, the requirement for us to scale down has offered a unique opportunity to be able to get to know clientele more on an intimate basis because there's less people in the classes. People have really benefited from that with their practice, especially by being able to get that smaller, more unique experience in the classes.
And let's see, next we have Tula. So Elixir Yoga Lounge is about 100 yards behind me, and Tula is actually directly below me right now as we speak.
So my name is Juan. I'm with Tula. So we're a restaurant on the Fayetteville Square in the Pryor Center. So Tula is a Mexican restaurant that caters more to authentic dishes. So we're not your typical Tex-Mex restaurant. We're actually a lot of, mostly authentic. Like I said, it's really hard to be 100% when, we're still trying to bring a lot of different ingredients from Mexico, but we're trying our best to keep it as authentic as we can. The fact of trying to have your own business. So my business partner and I, his name's Rodney Barnes. We decided to try to open up a restaurant, but also was the market and the demographics that we felt that we're missing something like Tula. A little bit more upscale Mexican restaurant where you could have handcrafted cocktails and many dishes that are not, that a lot of people were not common with, and bring that kind of city vibe to Northwest Arkansas. We've been very, very lucky to have a good staff that have been able to pick up different things and been willing to kind of work with us and figure things out together, just because we weren't in the restaurant industry, and so we had a big learning curve to do. But the good thing with them was that we had a lot of experienced people that came in to kind of help us out, from the consulting chef to the general manager to the bartenders, wait staff, and we were able to use them and kind of have their experience as well as a backup. So, obviously it was hard to figure out, from vendors to suppliers, to trying to have the staff that we have now. It was very challenging to, in a sense, kind of have people take us a little bit serious, because it was, to a lot of different people that we spoke to, it was, well, it's another, just a group of two guys that are trying to open up a restaurant, and they might not have no idea what's going on. But luckily we had people like Startup Junkie and different other restaurant owners that we were able to branch out and reach out to that helped us out. I think that everybody is willing to lend a hand. Everybody's been very receptive, very open to give us advice, to get us connected with different people, to just kind of help each other out. I never saw it as being a competition to anybody, or them being upset that there was another restaurant coming to the square. It was the complete opposite. Yeah, so obviously we opened the restaurant January the 2nd of this year. So with the pandemic, it was something that we weren't expecting, and I believe a lot of businesses weren't expecting, and we had to figure out how to, in a sense, kind of figure out our business model, adapt to, take out how we can make it work. So we worked with a lot of different people. Our suppliers were very helpful in terms of how we can package our food for takeout, because that was our biggest deal, was how can we do that. We sell a dining experience. That's what we want to do at Tula. It's not just your meal. It's from the service to the atmosphere to the smells and sensory items that come in with the restaurant. So how can we express that in a to-go box or in a to-go container and have the same type of product and not a sub-product if you were to have it on a to-go container and it gains moisture or whatever it is. So we had to figure that out. It was very challenging, but it's been going well. Selling our cocktail mixers to go is one of the things that we did to figure out how we can adapt. We might not be able to get you a handcrafted margarita at the restaurant if you don't feel comfortable, but you could take our mixers and do it at home, and it's actually pretty good. A lot of people enjoy that.
So one thing that Juan didn't mention in his video is that, and things that have happened since that video was recorded, is that Juan was working full-time in the commercial construction industry when he decided to start Tula as a dream of his. And since that video was recorded, Juan has now left his full-time job and gone full-time into Tula. So it's just an example of the opportunity to chase after a dream and see some success. And something he did mention that I think it's worth highlighting is that regardless of what, when you're speaking with students about things they might want to pursue, there can be other people doing similar things. But the unique aspect of Arkansas is that Arkansas entrepreneurs are pretty typically collaborative, encouraging, willing to help one another. And we've seen that at Startup Junkie, where we have somebody who wants to go into this industry. We'll have them reach out and talk to somebody that's already in that industry. And despite the fact that, they could be competition a couple of years down the road, they're usually pretty inclined to help each other. And I think that's something special about our landscape.
So my name is Juan.
All right, and now we will meet Arkansas entrepreneurs. So what's different in this session and some previous sessions is that we don't have any of the entrepreneurs that were featured in the videos today. We do have entrepreneurs that are here locally. Edwin Ortiz of Rejoicey. For those of you that have been participating in these other sessions, we watched Edwin's video. I think maybe in the first or second session. He's here to talk about Rejoicey. Cedric of Nice NWA. Fun fact, Cedric videoed and produced most of the videos that we've watched during this entire series. And Khaled with Rumi Afghan Rugs is here today as well to talk about his entrepreneurial journey and some of the work he's doing at Canby NWA. And so without further ado, I will turn it over to, and I'm going to stop sharing my screen so that everybody can see y'all's beautiful faces as y'all, round robin, starting with Edwin, to introduce yourself real quick before we open it up to questions.
Sounds good. Thank you, Caleb, and hello, everyone. I'm super excited to be here. This is pretty cool. Thank you for putting this together. So my name is Edwin, and I am the co-founder and CEO of Rejoicey. Rejoicey is a platform that makes it super easy for local businesses to create a digital storefront, so a website, and then for the community to shop local online. So if you guys saw the video, you probably saw Luncher as the business we were featuring. And I started Luncher about 2 years ago, and it was focused on a lunch delivery for offices. So as you can imagine, in March, where all the offices closed, we kind of lost all that business, but there was still this huge need for local businesses and for the community. So we decided to focus on that. We said, okay, we're not able to do office delivery, but we can still help businesses, we can still help the community, and we can survive. And as we did that and we started focusing on the local businesses, we were able to really make a difference. Like I'll give you the story. So we started working with a local food truck that was right next to the Walmart home office. So they, would usually have, 20,000 people within, a mile of where they were, and it went to zero, and they were ready to close it. They were, they had found a second job, and so we convinced them to set up some tamales on our platform and just sell them on Fridays. We're like, okay, look, like let's do a tamale Friday. We'll let people order through the platform throughout the week. And then on Fridays, they can either pick up or we'll deliver. And we did that, the first week there was a few orders, second week, a few more. By the time they reopened, we got over 2,000 orders, over 2,000 orders, which was huge for them. I mean, they were able to pay their past bills. They were able to reopen the truck. Now they're open 6 days a week. They're doing a lot better. So we decided, okay, we can really help more businesses. So that's when we decided to create Rejoicey. And really Rejoicey is focused on creating that community and helping all these local businesses that don't have a way to sell online. So about 74% of small businesses don't have e-commerce capabilities, which is crazy, right? I mean, you wouldn't expect that, but 74%. And that's been our experience as we try to help this business. So we're making it super easy to set up where you can, we haven't launched this, but you can actually text to create a website. So you don't even have to have a computer. You don't need to have any tech savviness. So it's, we're super excited. We're recently launched a few shops, and we're expecting to have about 150 by April, 150 local businesses on the platform. So we're super excited. I don't know if we are opening it for questions now or if we'll go through.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and let everybody say hello, and then we'll open it up for questions.
Perfect.
Cedric?
Yeah, that's me.
Sure thing. Well, my name is Cedric Fonville. I'm from Southeast Arkansas. I'm a Navy guy. I left the Navy to come to school here in Fayetteville, and I've been here since 2013 now. And believe it or not, my degree is actually in finance and business, and I got a chance to stretch my creativity by learning how to do photography and videography. And I got into the media world, the marketing world, I would say, as a student at the University of Arkansas in my senior year. Jeff Amaran, who leads Startup Junkie, teaches an entrepreneurship class. And in that class, he challenged all of us to go and start a 4-month business. He gave us a couple $100 and we could partner up, we could do individual assignments. And my small business project was basically to get more marketing for local, small mom and pop size companies. And when I got the chance to meet him and learn a lot more about how business works in the real world, be behind the register, so to speak, it was a lot more exciting than what I had envisioned. And I knew I wanted to go into that world after I graduated. So started off in the marketing space because I thought that would be a good place to get some experience, make a difference, make an impact by helping people get more awareness for their brands. And that led me into photo and video. Going into this year after crazy 2020 with a lot of social unrest and a lot of just challenges with all of us, I have been working on doing a lot more than just the marketing piece. And I've been actually trying to become more of a resource to minority-owned businesses, to veteran-owned businesses and women-owned businesses at a deeper impact than just marketing. So that's all in the works, and a little bit too early to speak too specific about some of those things, but a lot of the stuff that I'm going to be talking about here in the next couple of weeks, including 1 Million Cups on Wednesday, will give a little bit of highlight and detail towards that. So it's great to meet everybody virtually, and I'm excited to be here, and thanks for the invite.
Thank you, Cedric. And Khaled.
Hi, and I was mute. Hello, everyone. My name is Khaled Ahmadzai. Thank you, Startup Junkie, for allowing us to have this time to speak about our journey. As I mentioned, my name is Khaled Ahmadzai. I'm originally from Afghanistan. I moved to the US in 2010, and when I was studying here at the University of Arkansas in Fayetteville, in 2014, there was an Arkansas fellowship, a scholarship that for businesses to start here in Northwest Arkansas, to remain in Arkansas. And although my degree was in international relations and nothing to do with business, I had a business idea. I had a couple of hours to kill, and I went to the library, wrote something, submitted it, and then I had an interview with Jeff back in 2014. And again, that was the idea was to sell Afghan rugs and with this story with those carpets tell the story of how these beautiful art pieces are made. And lo and behold, I did not decided to go that route. I finished my education, went to get my master's degree in Little Rock, and then I went back to Afghanistan in 2016, and in 2018. It was about time to move back to the US, and the idea of starting the business of a carpet business, again, inspired by my then 8-year-old daughter. She started an online school, website to sell carpets. She came to my office in Kabul, in Afghanistan, and she looked at a small rug and said, "Is this for me?" I'm like, "No, this is it's a sample." And she's like, "Well, I want this." So I decided to go ahead and order 60 or 70 of those, and within 2 weeks, all those carpets were, and we were doing homeschooling, so she had to like measure it, and it was like a project for her. But then in 2018, when we decided to move back to the US, I kind of took, she and I took the idea and started our journey of Afghan made rugs. And with that, we were hoping to tell the other story of Afghanistan, which you hardly hear on the news. And that's the story of artisans who work and create these beautiful pieces of art. And so that's our mission, is to tell that story through this beautiful art.
Awesome, I appreciate that. And I guess I should have invited Jeff. I didn't know y'all both could worked with Jeff. And also, I think it's evident through what y'all said, and then some of the videos entrepreneurs we spoke with before, is worth reiterating that it doesn't matter what you started to do or what you went to school for. I mean, that doesn't prevent you from chasing a passion and making a business out of it, and you can succeed regardless of where you started. So now we'll open it up for questions. So if you have a question for any of our entrepreneurs, feel free to drop it in the chat box. If you have a question specifically for somebody, say who you're addressing, you're welcome to unmute yourself and ask your question out loud if you want to. Have at it. Not all at once.
So I'm curious about learning more about the Afghan rugs, especially the history and tradition and culture that's embodied in them.
Yes. So I was I'm an entrepreneur in blood. When I was in 7th grade in school, I was selling bread. I was selling water. I was selling soap, and that was my business. And growing up in a family, my dad always had rugs. We had rugs at home, and he was also doing some bookkeeping for one of the rug stores. And so as a kid, I always went there and kind of played around the carpet in the midst of all these beautiful pieces of carpet. And so I had this admiration for carpet. And when I started working, the first thing after the fall of Taliban, the first thing I did was the first salary I received, I went and bought a carpet. And that was my thing about carpets, because I saw more than just a piece of cloth that you put on the ground. And with that, it was a self-taught. It was like I didn't go to school for learning carpet, but then it just grew from there. And in 2016, when I finished Clinton School of Public Service in Little Rock, I went back and started with World Bank and USAID, the State Department Assistance for International Aid. I went and started a project of helping Afghan women who are weaving carpets to bring to create a market for them in the West. So I went and worked with World Bank and USAID, and that's when I kind of got into the whole aspect of how carpets are made. And it's just traveling through the villages and weeks and weeks and live in like you're literally we had a lot of sales in Germany and the East and West Coast, and then I was here 1 week, and then the next week I was back in Afghanistan in the village. It was like 5,000 years like journey of going from here to places where there was just literally everything is made by hand, like from the sheep all the way to the shop. Everything is just handmade and hand spun. And we did a research with World Bank that Afghanistan and Nepal are the only two countries that are still producing handmade carpets. Other places are hand tufted, and some of these are unfortunately dying. And other countries like Iran, where it used to be one of the leading countries for Afghan carpets. So I'll share the link here, and I went and collected all these carpets as we were over the 2 years I was there, working and with these weavers, and just collecting these masterpieces and seeing how they all put it together in this just amazing way of all memory. And I've lots of stories I can share, but I don't want to take too much time. So that's my my expertise in the last few years, kind of involving in carpet world.
You don't have to share the link because people already have, and I think you already might have some customers in the chat box right now. And Faye asked if you had one with you that you might be able to show.
Well, I have in the office. Let me get one. Here.
Awesome.
That's beautiful.
Thank you. It's all natural dye. So that was the beauty of it when you're going and seeing in these villages. Like the red is the seed, the skin of a pomegranate. The daisy. It's all these beautiful things that I didn't know about. It was all back in Afghanistan when it's kind of opened up my eyes to this art. And again, as I said, these are woven by people that are not making the news here. It's always the bad things that are on the news, but these are just incredible work that they do.
Jeff has a question for Edwin. So do you use employees for your technology, or do you contract it out?
Yeah, so we do it all in-house. We've actually done both. And I would say it's so much better to do it in-house. And I used to have this boss that used to say, when you're going to do something crazy, find a friend. And I think that's really the key. If, as people decide to start something, I think it's always a better idea to find someone that's willing to go on the journey with you than to outsource it, especially in the early days, because you don't have the money. You don't really know what what the customer wants. It's all based on a hypothesis. So yeah, I think I've learned that it's so much better to have for a tech company, the tech people in-house. So yeah, in-house.
And I have another question that is probably for anybody. I'll throw it to you, Cedric. What is the best strategy for motivating high school students to find problems in their communities and become an entrepreneur in order to solve them?
Sure. I think one of the things that will be helpful is getting high school students an opportunity to be a part of something that is social entrepreneurship. I know they have this program at the University of Arkansas, which is what exposed me to it, where students, for credit as one of their actual classes, they can take part in this social innovation challenge. And basically nonprofits will come on the first couple of class sessions and present a challenge they have in the organization. And then the students, kind of like I did in my school project, they can pick either to work individually or in groups to try to present solutions in the course of the 4 months of being in that class in their school. And then at the end of it, everyone gives sort of a 5 or 6 minute long presentation on their findings over the 4 months. And it forces them to get into a research mode and have conversations with people to go out and learn what problems exist and through doing all that, I think a lot of people end up realizing they like it, they're passionate about it. And if you can earn a living doing something that you enjoy from like an entrepreneurial standpoint, but also makes people better off in life, I think connecting those two is one of those things that people just don't realize is an option until they get exposed to the area of social entrepreneurship. And Rogelio Contreras, I know Caleb knows him very well. He's a great resource for that from a college level. I'm sure he's heard of tons of programs at a high school level that may, make sense to hear about.
Absolutely. And happy to connect anyone with anyone on this call. Have a question, and well, I'll let Edwin and Khaled address that question if they'd like.
So I was looking for the question. So is it how do you get high school students to engage in entrepreneurial?
How would you go about inspiring them to get to seek out a problem, I guess, in their community to address?
Yeah. Got it. So yeah, I think a big piece is I really feel that we all have like this thing that we're better than, better at than most people. And then I think it's combining that with a problem with some sort of market that exists. And yeah, I think what Cedric said, the ability to give them access to problems out there, and forcing that interaction of, okay, go and look for a problem, go and talk to people, see what you can learn from those people. What are the things that they're trying to solve and how can you solve it better? And I think there's nothing better than just talking to people, talking to a customer. And if they have a specific passion, finding a problem within that group. The beauty of the technology that we have now is you can, come up with a pen for left-handed, baseball players, and you can sell it. And it's just because, you have access to so many more people that if you have the passion for it, you can find your niche. You can find that group that's interested in it. So yeah, I would say just giving them access and pushing them to pursue some passion.
So Caleb, I would like to say that I've worked with Rogelio and we've developed some curricula for high school students. And so Caleb sent out a link to a live binder we've created, and you can look under that and find some Arkansas social entrepreneurs, some curricula there, and so forth. And then I'm happy to work with you because that's one of my pet projects, because I think at younger levels, doing something that benefits the community is a really good way to teach entrepreneurship. I have a presentation also I did for East teachers since they're focused on benefiting the community. So if you're interested in that, I'd be really happy to work with you.
And I'll add to that, I sent out, when I sent out the Zoom link to everybody, the links to those resources, I sent them out to about 30 something people. We have 70 people on the call. So I know that means half of y'all probably didn't get those resources. So I am currently putting my email in the chat box, and I encourage you to shoot me a message and I'll make sure you get those resources. Let's see where we at in our questions here. Kevin had a question. He wants to know from our panelists here, what was the biggest obstacle you overcame? And whoever wants it.
I'll talk, and mine is a little bit different, but one of the obstacle was I just didn't know how to import carpets, and I had 1.5 to 2 tons of carpet laying down in cobble, and I didn't know how to. And then at that time, I called Michael and Jeff. I was sitting in cobble, and I called them and said, "Well, I need your help." And so there was 11-hour time difference, and I remember Jeff was in one place and Mike was at Startup Junkie. Both of them were in 2 different places, and they were like on the call, and they give me a list of people that I should contact, and then that's what I did. And so that was in the aspect of importing stuff. I just had no idea, and I didn't even know how much my 1.5 tons, because over the period of 2 years, I was buying these carpets and I'm putting it together. I didn't see them all put together in one spot. And lo and behold, the next thing was they were on a plane and heading out to come to the US. And those wonderful contacts that one of them was in Prairie Grove, that we are now good friends. She was the one who kind of started the whole process and said, well, this is what you need to do, and give me step by step. And out of that, we're good friends, and they have horses, and I take my children every now and then, we go and play with a horse. And it's just like, it started with that relationship through Startup Junkie and me asking the question, I need help.
Yeah, I would say for me, the biggest challenge to overcome is just financial survival. When you start a business, you always have an idea how much money it's going to take to get it to where you're trying to get it to. And everyone tells you double whatever your number is. Some people tell you to quadruple it, but it's always a challenge of having enough money to not only just survive, but just to have a decent living so that you can do the things that you dreamed of doing. And every year there's some new challenge or there's something unexpected. Like the guy mentioned with Tula, he opens his business in January and then all of a sudden COVID's here and he has to learn how to operate a restaurant with all these limitations. So just having that sort of survival type of personality where you can just find a way to overcome has been one of the things that has been a trend and an unpleasant theme no matter what business you're in. So I would say financial survival would be the biggest one for me.
I think that's a huge one. I think financial survival is so hard, especially, in this type. And I think though, but that in a way, it's almost like a tool. Like it helps you find that extra gear of, okay, what are we going to do that it's going to work? And I think another challenge, one of the biggest challenges that I had at the beginning was I started with this idea of what I wanted it to be. So I think if you come up with a solution and then you're trying to force that solution to your customers, you're going to have a much harder time. So I think it wasn't until we took a step back and we actually decided to pull versus push. There's this really good book called The Prosperity Paradox by Clay Christensen. He was a Harvard professor, passed away last year. But he talks about the pulling versus pushing and how a lot of times, while well-intended, you'll have a nonprofit push a solution, and I think for-profits too, that happened to us, where you're trying to push a solution to people, and that may actually not be what they need at that time. So, a well is built in Africa, but there's no one that can maintain the motor. So, it works for a couple of months and then it doesn't work, and that's not what they needed, versus like actually pulling. And he talks about the story of this soup, like it was like a ramen soup company came to Nigeria, started the company, and they didn't eat noodles in Nigeria when that company came in, but because there wasn't a market, but there was a need for cheap food, they were able to create a plant, and then they needed electricity for that. So they brought electricity to the town, and then a road to transport that, to other places. So all of a sudden, by figuring out what was needed, they were able to create a lot more jobs and a lot more resources and become a much more successful company because they were able to pull versus push. So I think that's a big challenge for every business as we start, is like, okay, yeah, like I have this idea and this is going to work because I think it's this way. And most of the time it's actually not. So, yeah.
That's a great thought. And I saw some conversation in the chat about resources in Central Arkansas. I will say Startup Junkie actually has an affiliate in Conway that serves Central Arkansas called The Conductor. They do exactly what we do here in Northwest Arkansas in Central Arkansas, and they're affiliated with the University of Central Arkansas. So whenever I send out a follow-up email, I'll include that link. Totally free services. I'll include that link as well, and that way you have access to that. We'll send links to the videos we watched today. Someone asked about minority business directories. I know of some here in Northwest Arkansas that I will link to that. And anything else y'all want, y'all just let me know. I dropped my email in the chat, so don't hesitate to shoot me an email. Just ask what like Khaled said, don't know till you ask. So at this time, I will first of all thank our entrepreneurs for joining us today. We appreciate you. Thank you for sharing with our teachers. If you're okay with it, I can copy y'all on that email too. So if our teachers want to touch base with you, have follow-up questions, be more than happy to connect them with y'all if you are okay with that. And then when I send those resources. And now we're going to turn it over to trivia. So you're welcome to go about your evenings if you'd like. For those of our teachers here now that don't really care about trivia, which I mean, probably nobody doesn't care about trivia, you're welcome to depart at this time, and we will get going. So thank you again, entrepreneurs. We appreciate y'all. All right. And Marsha's dropping some of those links too there at the bottom, which you will also get in that email. And like I said, I emailed about 30 something people, and we've got 66 right here now. So I know I missed some of y'all. So please let me know if I did not get you the right information or the information period. All right.
They will want to complete the form Marsha put in there because they will get a book or curriculum guide and a gift certificate without winning trivia.
Awesome.
So they could be a double winner.
Awesome. So I like to hear. Okay. So if you want to play trivia, here's your first step. Can everybody see this? All right. You need to pull out your phone, or you can pull up a separate screen other than your Zoom. Well, I'm clicking the wrong buttons here. Apologize.
And while they play trivia, since I can't play, I'm ordering my rug over here.
That's awesome. So go to Kahootit, not.com. It's KAHOOT.IT. Everybody do that. And I forgot I've got to go to the actual. So I'm sharing my screen so I don't accidentally show y'all any of the answers when I get this pulled up here.